tips, and then I'm going to just do a demo like I would on Facebook. Number one, choose a recipe that can be done in about a half an hour, start to finish. So you got to kind of look and see. If you've got something that's got a million steps and, people lose interest, they're not going to want you to make small talk for 20 minutes. You've got to have something to do while it's going. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is to do your demo at a time, again, where people are going to see you. I mean, I've had girls I have one girl who does demos, like late at night in her nightgown. Not a good idea. So not pretty. So I like to do my demos. I like to do my demos at dinner time, 6:30, 7 o'clock, something like that, and then we can eat it for dinner. Tip number three is how do you set it up? So I'm going to have you hold this a minute. I use this, and you just clip your phone in here, and I have an island, so it gets clipped onto the island. And the other thing is that I have my phone so that all I can see is the little camera hole. I do not have the screen facing me. Because how many of you have watched demos and people are going like, "Oh, hi, Tiffany. Oh, what are you doing today?" It's so distracting, in my opinion. So I cannot talk with them live. I can only comment back after the demo's done, so I'm going to say something about that. But this is what I use. And then you can't get these anymore with the word Pampered Chef on it because somebody narked. But, Lisa Noto has a business, and she will say something like cooking with Marna Ross. Now, we just can't use the logo because it is apparently the company's policy, so we want to stick with it. But I always put this behind me. And that's branding. So you're going to get a sign, put that behind you, use this, and you're ready to go. All right, are you good to go? I don't think it matters. All right, so another thing that I do is I try to tell a little bit of a story about what's going on today. How many of you ever watched the cooking channel, the network, like Ree Drummond or something? Her food always relates to what's happening on the old farm, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I got no farm except my animal husband, so I'll try to, create some banter a little bit, and then I'll get to the cooking. So, hey Facebook friends, it's Marna, your Pampered Chef consultant. How are you doing today? I hope that you're having a great day. I thought this was the perfect day to make some chicken tortilla soup. How many of you love soup during the wintertime? Fall is a great time to have soup. So we're going to get rocking and rolling and make that recipe. But first, let me do some business. Let me introduce myself. I'm Marna. If you've not watched my demos before, welcome. What I would love for you to do is just let me know that you're here. So if you could just comment where you are, where you live, what your name is, I'll know that. And then after I'm done demoing, I'll be sure to connect with you. The other thing that if you could please do is to just go ahead and click share on this video. So just go down, click the share button, and all it'll do is put my cooking video out on your news feed so that you can save it, because I promise you're going to want to have this recipe. So this is a chicken tortilla soup, and I don't know about you out there, but I'm always looking for an easy soup to make, and this one is super easy because we're going to use our star of the kitchen, our quick cooker. So if you have a quick cooker, go ahead and comment down there, got it, love it, and what you're using it for, because this recipe is definitely one that you're going to want to try in the future. So let's get started with the cooking. So we're going to start out with an onion. And I don't know if you know it, but when you choose an onion for cooking, you want to make sure you're using the right kind of onion. So this is going to be cooked, so we can just use a yellow onion, a cooking onion. But if you're going to eat it raw, like you're going to put it in a salad, you want to choose, a sweet onion or a purple onion. Get the right kind of onion. Some people just buy a 3-pound bag of yellow onions and use it for everything, and that's, it's too strong. So we're going to use our spiralizer. And we're going to take our onion and put it in here. So the spiralizer we'll use again in a minute for the zucchini. But if you don't have a spiralizer, have you ever been to the store and bought like spiralized noodles, right? I mean, like a spiralized zucchini costs about $4.99, right? And it's about, like a half of a zucchini. So you can get this. I love our version. There's another one on the market. It is called it's hot up here. It is called a veggetti. Just the name of that is sick and wrong. gravity. Gravity is usually not my friend, but in this case it is. So I put the onion on, and then you just turn the handle and watch what it does to an onion for you. So this is how I cut up all my onions. Look, isn't that amazing? So look, if you have an onion that's too strong, if you want to just take it and put it in a colander and get some cold water on it, it'll take all the bite out of it. So if you have one that you find is just too strong, do that. So we've got some onion cut up for us. So this is the veggie spiralizer. And I don't know about you, but if something's not easy to clean up, I'm not going to use it. So this one, you take this off and throw it in the dishwasher. It's easy peasy. We're going to use this again to make zucchini spirals, but you can do butternut squash, onions, beets, carrots, turnips. Who eats turnips? I don't know. Let's put that aside. All right, so then we can take a knife and break this down, or we could use the manual food processor. I'm just going to take a knife and just break this down a little bit. So this is one of our color-coded knives. What happened?
Where's those goggles at?
Okay. So we've got some onion cut up and ready. So let's move over to the quick cooker and just give you a couple of tips for this. So first of all, pressure cooking is nothing new. When I was a kid, my mom had, how many of you remember the pressure cooker that was on the stove top? And it had a little dial, a little button on the top. And if you weren't careful and you opened it too soon, you had beef stew all over the kitchen, which did happen one time. I've been traumatized. I can't stand beef stew because we had to clean it all up as kids. But that was a little bit unsafe because you could open it when the pressure was still up. With this, you cannot open it when the pressure is up. It is completely safe to use. So Instapots came on the market maybe 8 years ago. That's the name brand that you might recognize. And we took all of the features and we just improved them. So we let them kind of test the market, and then we came out with the perfect electric pressure cooker. So a couple of features that you're going to love. First of all, our pot inside is 6 quarts, and it is all stainless steel. Others are just a thin aluminum, and they tend to get kind of gross and nasty after a while. Ours has great, easy to lift up. The handles are on the bottom. It has 16 different settings. So I'm just going to tell you a couple settings, and then we'll get going. But how many of you have ever had salmon at a restaurant? I mean, I like salmon in a restaurant, but I never did well with it at home. This comes with a little rack. I buy the frozen fillets at Aldi's because I'm cheap. And you put them on, frozen, 3 of them. I put a little lemon pepper, a little garlic, salt, and pepper, and some lemon slices, half a cup of water. Guys, the frozen salmon is done in 7 minutes, and it tastes exactly like you're at a restaurant. It's amazing, delicious, and easy. I'm going to make soup today in here, but you can do things like chicken. I like to think of it this way. There's 2 kinds of people in the world. People that like to use a slow cooker, and people who like to use a quick cooker, like I do. So if you're the person who likes to wake up in the morning, brushing your teeth, and putting raw chicken in a crock pot for the day, hey, that's one way to cook. If you're the person who comes home from work and says, oh my gosh, I've got to get dinner in a half an hour, then you're going to be the lover of this quick cooker. This is one of our hosts' favorite things to get at discount, half price, 60% off. Most of my hosts consider this. So if you're watching this and you think, oh my gosh, I would love to have it, we can sell it to you at full price. I have lots of people get it at full price, but if you could get it at half price or 60% off, you'd be the smarter girl in the room, so we'll get one for you. Now, I might go through a bigger, longer thing about that, but for time's sake, just, I know you're all thinking, well, I would say a lot more than that. Well, me too, but goodbye. All right. So one tip that I share with pressure cookers, with our quick cooker though, is that you should preheat it. How many of you preheated on sear? Yes. I did not know that. Why do you do that? Because it shortens up your cook time. It gets it started. Okay. So we're going to turn it on sear.
You press the button.
I always press. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm like pushing everything. Well, you saw me on a computer. Hello. So sometimes I push the wrong thing. So we're just going to get this starting to preheat on sear. Okay? All right. So. Yeah, you just hold it. All right. That's your goggles for the end. Okay, next we're going to work with a green pepper. You can use red, you can use orange. You all know that all orange and yellow and red peppers all start as green. They just are more mature and they're sweeter. So how many of you have switched to mostly using colored peppers? Me too. Why'd you switch? Because they're sweeter. We're kind of going into live mode here, not like on TV, but whatever. I use a colored pepper because they're a little bit milder, they're a little bit sweeter, they don't produce as much gas. They're great, especially in my house, that's good. So anyway, a red pepper or a colored pepper has as much vitamin C as an orange. A green pepper does not. So that's one good reason. So we're going to clean the pepper. We're going to take the top off. We're going to get the seeds out. So here's a tool that's cheap and easy, much like my ex-husband's new wife. It's only been 25 years. I'll get over it soon. It was my idea. Never mind. But anyway, this is our scoop loop. And if you want something that's going to be super practical, you've got to get this. What holiday is coming up this month? Halloween. No, it's my husband's 74th birthday. But on Halloween, if you want to clean out pumpkins with ease, this is what you want. Get one for each of your kids because instead of sticking your hand in and pulling that grossness out, how many of you have ever done that and go, this just scoops it all out. But you can use it for melon. It's worked great for that, squash. But for taking the seeds out of a pepper, you're just going to pull it. I like to kind of hold it down, pull it all out, get those seeds out, and then you're left with all this stuff. I like to set it down and just scrape the 4 or 3 veins in there, and you have the cleanest pepper in the world. Sorry, just talk among yourselves. There you go. Like that. So if you're going to, thank you. So if you're going to make stuffed peppers or anything like that, it's great. All right, let's get rid of these seeds, and then we'll cut this up. So I'm going to use my favorite inexpensive product, and it's the Quick Slice. Does anybody have the Quick Slice? All right. This came out about 2 years ago and instantly became one of my favorite products. So how many of you have an egg slicer? Do you remember our egg slicer? We still sell it. It's a great tool. But we kind of took the egg slicer and just put it on steroids, and this is what we ended up with. It's got stainless steel blades that are micro-serrated. They don't need sharpening. They're going to stay sharp. What you're going to do is whatever you put in, you're going to rock this like a baby. Don't be like jamming it down like this and then calling me, that doesn't work. Okay, please do it this way. So we're going to take our pepper, and we're going to cut it into 4s. So we're using, like I think I mentioned and started to, our color-coded knife. This is a chef's knife, and it's got a curved blade, so it's designed to sort of rock with, your motion. This is a Santoku, and this is designed more for chopping. So this is this is a Japanese style. This one, I like to use this, like this, right? If you just want to be hacking away, then get this style. So here's the 2 different knife lines that we carry. This is a lifetime warranty, German steel, beautifully full tang, riveted handle, wood handle, blah, blah, blah. This is our $21 knife. If you're looking for just something that'll get the job done, these are great knives. If you want the best of the best that'll last you a lifetime, then you're going to want to get our German steel knives. I always like to say, this is a Mercedes-Benz. This is a good old Chevrolet. They'll both get you where you want to go, but it's what quality do you want. If you have a man in your house that cuts things up, that didn't sound good, man who cuts. Men love our knives. And you know what? A good knife, you need a good go-to knife in your kitchen. You absolutely need, because so many people, women especially, use way too small of a knife. They tend to use a little paring knife, or you know what I see a lot? Is people cutting up things on a paper plate with a steak knife all the time. Okay, so we're going to take our Quick Slice. I do not use this. I do not know why we have this. That's gone. What do you use that for?
It just catches it still leaks through the counter though, I think. It just catches the big stuff.
I'm going to use it. I'm going to see if it makes any difference at all. Okay, so we're going to put a quarter on. We're just going to bring it down. We rock it, and you've got perfect slices. So if you're going to do a veggie tray, how fast is that? The recipe calls for it just to be in strips, but I'm going to turn it a quarter turn again, and we're going to make the most perfect cubed pieces of pepper ever. Now, I find it much easier to leave this down when I'm dumping it out. Don't lift that up. You're okay. So we'll do this. So what else can we use this for? Shout out what you use this for.
Strawberries, block of cheese, mushrooms, cooked chicken breast.
Okay, I've heard tons of ideas. You know, this is a $40 product, and it really is a great
I
product.
use it all the time.
It's only $5 if you get our starter kit. Somebody said over here, learning fast. Good job.
Cooked chicken breast.
So I use it for all the things. I mean, I use it even for onions and things like that, although the directions will say no onion, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to do onion, I mean, what the company can't have you do is just take this big old whole honkin' onion and try to run it through. All right, so that's our quick slice. We're done with that.
People know root
All right, let's put
vegetables
some
like
oil in here,
carrots,
shall we?
potatoes,
All right. Oh, it's not even open. How much was this? 29 cents at a discount
39.
store? 39. If you don't know it, Grace shops at the Salvation Army for her food. And I think 2 years ago, I'm putting salad dressing on my salad, and it's like outdated by 2 years. So.
Almost did.
She almost did.
It was only 20 cents.
It had a 20-cent sticker on it. So I love Grace for her thriftiness and her hair. Okay. So let's put this in the oil. Nice sizzle. Yeah. So these are our vegetables. We're going to get softened up a little bit while we work on the rest of this recipe. We're going to put garlic in. How many of you use fresh garlic when you cook? There's just no good substitute for fresh garlic. Would you agree? Absolutely. So one of the problems with using fresh garlic is peeling it and mincing it up, you know, like Giada's like on the cooking shows. We're going to take a clove of garlic with the skin on it. Is there skin still on there, Pam?
Oh, yes, there is.
Have I ever met you before? No, never. It's like a magic show. So we put the clove of garlic in, you press it, out comes all the garlic. Now there's a little tool that comes with it that gets this all scraped off. That went down the garbage disposal on day one. So make sure that you use the non-sharp edge of your knife. You don't want to be scraping your good side. You're going to use the back side if you're going to use a knife at all. But you see that it just pulls that garlic out. It leaves the skin behind. So amazing. Put 3 cloves of garlic in.
Yeah, Pam.
More is good.
Toughen up. All right, so I just wanted to show you this. Just want to show you the garlic peeler. This came back sold singly, which I'm super excited about. So if you need garlic that's just peeled, like you're going to do some canning or some pickling, or you're going to do that 40 clove of garlic chicken that's recipes out there, like that's a surefire way to not be near your husband for a week. Trying it out tonight. So you put the clove of garlic in and you just roll it. This is a tube of silicone. Yes, Lori?
Yes.
Yeah, open. Oh, Lori said you could open caramels with it. That's more my speed, right? And it didn't work at all, so just talk them on your side.
It's because you're on a folding table. It's a folding table.
Sliced garlic.
I got that right at a party though, where you're like, oops, and I just want to show you.
Using folding table.
Okay, could you do that?
So annoying when you're chopping. Whenever I use a food chop,
So we're going to go ahead and just stir these up just for 3 minutes. So in a lot of cooking, if we do onions, garlic, and pepper, a lot of times that's like the triple trio. What do you call that? The trinity, right? I call them my aromatics. This is what's going to add flavor. All right. So now we're going to put in there, we got the quick cooker set to sear. We're going to heat the oil. We did all that blah, blah. Okay, now we're going to add chicken, corn, some seasoning, salt, tomatoes, and black beans. So this is soup, but we're not going to add all of the broth. Who knows why we're not going to add all the broth right away? It cuts the cooking time down. Because, what do you need to bring up to pressure? You need liquid. The minimum is about, what, a half a cup? So if you put in just the minimum of liquid, it'll come to pressure so much faster and it'll start to cook. If I put all 4 cups of the broth in, it's going to take a long time. And the broth we don't need that to do anything but heat through. So you cut out all that liquid. If you've got a soup recipe, you cut all that out and just put the minimum in.
I'm good.
Why did you go inside?
Oh, I need to stir this first.
It's so hard to get.
I know.
So hard to get good help. All right, so we're going to open up a can. This has got a pull tab. I'm going to try to attempt to use the can opener on this. It usually doesn't work, but who knows? We might get lucky tonight, like maybe. So, how many of you have our can opener?
Yeah.
Right? What, honey?
Use the bottom.
This one's got that rounded.
Rounded edge.
Rounded? Oh, it'll work on this, yeah. All right, so our can opener is fabulous, right? Because it's going to leave a smooth edge. You can reseal your can. So let's give it a try here. Put it on the top. It's got a little bit of a magnet, a grab. Turn it. Now there's a fly. Yes, hold on. You don't need to keep stirring. It's kind of like the milking down there. Just keep going. Nothing is happening. He's 74. I didn't say anything. Okay, so we're going to use some fire roasted diced tomatoes. Have you seen the fire roasted? They're not the same as Rotel. Some of my customers thought it was Rotel. It just means that they've been charred a little bit, which gives more flavor. This is where our liquid is coming from. This is where we're getting our half a cup of liquid for this recipe. So we're going to put the fire roasted tomatoes in. So look, you can put the lid back on. You know, like I did Girl Scouts. I was a Girl Scout leader for 10 years. Those poor children. But we did a lot of can crafts because if you anybody ever been a Girl Scout leader, you literally have like 10 cents for the year for your projects. I mean, you have no money to work with. So we did a lot of can crafts, and we used to have just a regular can opener, and I was always out there with sandpaper, you know. So this one of the crafts we did was we took a can and you put a little gift in there, like for whatever, put a little glue on here, and then you can reseal it, and then the person opens up the tab and the gift's inside, like a gift certificate. You know what I mean? You need a life. Okay. It was fun. It was. Let's put some black beans in. So black beans are a great source of protein. If you know a vegetarian or a vegan, sucks to be them, but because I have tried everything in the world to lose weight. I've been on every plan. I've been on Weight Watchers 3 times. I've lost an amazing $450. Story. Like every time I write the check for $150, go, this is going to be the time. And next time I'm going to write the check and just slide it under the door and go, bye-bye. Call that good. I did the, what's the Marie Osmond one? Nutrisystem. Did Nutrisystem. They sent me this box of absolute garbage. It tasted like dog food. It smelled like dog food. And I actually called the company. I said, I want the food that Marie Osmond's eating. I know she's not eating this. It was really bad. I've been to fat farms. I've been high.
Making sheets right now.
No, that CBC oil is working great. No, listen. High protein. So I've been keto. So keto, I was like mooing and clucking. I ate so much meat, right? Then I went all the other way. I was vegetarian, and then I went to vegan because my friend said, all you have to do is give up meat. And I thought, well, I'm really kind of sick of meat from doing that keto thing. I'm good with that. I'll be a vegan. How fun will that be? Well, I mean, honest, what do vegans eat? Nothing. I was eating black beans morning, noon, and night, and I mean, I couldn't even meet you like, hi, Pam. Unbelievable. So anyway, like when people, you can get hungry. Can you hear me if I just do this?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sucks for you. So anyway, so if you like if you want to quit smoking, they like give you a patch, like, here's a patch, wear this for a while. I mean, I needed like a pork patch for my butt. I mean, like, oh my God, it was like withdrawal crazy. So that was the worst 4 months of my life, vegan. So, but anyway, I do a vegan show. If you know vegans, I love, I'll be glad to share with you some tips on that. If you want to do high keto, I can, big keto, I can show you that. Weight Watchers, not so much. But, all right, so let's get this done because I'm standing between you and lunch. All right, so we're going to put in some carnitas seasoning, which we sell, and measure carefully. Okay. All right. Put a little salt in. Good? I'm saving wash time here, Lori. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to put in some corn and some chicken. Yes. Doesn't everybody keep their stuff on a hay bale? All right, so we're going to put in some boneless chicken breast. That was fun. She's okay. I'm just all covered in slime. All right, and we're going to put some corn in. And we're going to put in, I don't know how much corn. I would never the whole bag.
2 cups.
The whole bag?
2 cups.
Bag is going in.
Okay, so now we're going to get this to come up to pressure. So let's get the lid. Where's our lid? All right, so what's the trick to getting this lid on? So you definitely all know about the steam thing. You want to make sure that this is flush. But I see a lot of people struggling to get this on. So the easiest thing is to put this steam at 11 o'clock. If you think of this as a clock, this would be 12 o'clock, this is 11, and you just turn. It's the easiest way to get that to close perfectly is always point it to 11, because you know you struggled. You know that you're like at a show going like, hey, just put this lid on. And then could you put this on custom for 10 minutes? I'm only having her do that because this always screws up for me. I try to get it on custom for 10 minutes and I can't figure it out.
Custom time. Custom time.
We're just going to do one more thing for this terrible demo and I'll be done.
Fabulous.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
It's lovely.
Lovely. That's right. Okay, let's get rid of this because this was raw stuff. Okay. So the last thing we're going to do, I asked for a zucchini. Good God. This thing. It's that you can take. So this is like the size of a gunboat. Hello. So this would be great for making zucchini bread or what have you, but we'll use it for. We're going to spiralize a little bit of this. So this is coming up to pressure. After it's come up to pressure, we're going to add our chicken broth. And we're going to add the zucchini noodles, and then we're just going to turn it to sear for like 10 minutes. So on an Instapot, sear is called what? Saute. So it's the same thing. But you can also use this as a slow cooker. People always ask, is it a low heat or high heat? It's high heat, so it's like the 4-hour cycle on high. So let's work on this gigantic. So. Let's use the spiralizer. So there's a little, where is it? I don't want to lose this. Does anybody know how much this costs?
Yes.
$13 and some change.
$13.95.
Do not lose this because that's what it will
I had
cost
a
to
host
replace
with a
it.
plastic
So
thing
this is
out
what you
with
put in
the
if you
blade
want to
and
make, if I wanted to turn this into noodles, I could make a wide noodle, a skinny noodle. I just want to cut this down into some spirals and some little pieces. So we'll put that on again and we'll just turn. Oops, let's turn it this way. And look at how amazing that is. Now I have found that you have to have a big zucchini for it to turn into like this. If you have just a little cucumber size, it tends to turn and it breaks it every couple turns, right? So, I know, it's so good. So you're going to take your spiralizer and use this. So if you're going to do my vegan show or my vegetarian, let's go with keto show because that's an easy one to do. We're going to make homemade meatballs. And we're going to make them in the microwave, and we're going to make them in 6 minutes. We're going to make a homemade pasta sauce, and we're going to make zucchini noodles. Your family is going to go crazy. You're going to go crazy. It's delicious and super healthy. That recipe also goes well for anybody who wants just a low-carb recipe. If they want of healthy eating, if you're on the $150 Weight Watcher plan, that'll work for that too. So we're going to just take, in a minute, we'll put these in. So if I were on if I were really doing it online, of course it would have been just directed, it would have been a one-sided conversation. But I would have said something like, so if you love the demo, please go ahead and share it and make me get some comments for me, because then I know that you've been here. But I just want to tell you that this month we have a great special on our starter kit. So the last thing on your mind might be maybe giving Pampered Chef a try for the business, but I'm going to tell you that you would be literally crazy not to get a $39 kit. So let me tell you that, remember our rock crock that I used earlier? It sells for $125, and I sell them every day for that. I can get it for you for $5. That quick slice that you saw me use, $5. Our garlic press, $5. Cutting mats, $5. There's 8 products for $39. So we're looking for consultants who will try the business for a party or two. And I think you're going to fall in love with it and love it, and you're going to stick with me forever. We're going to grow old together, right? But just know this, the kit is yours to keep no matter what happens. So I'm going to be posting a picture of that kit, and I want you to message me and say, I'm in, I want to try it, because we've had a whole lot of people join our team. So you might want to be a virtual consultant just on Facebook. Can you cut and paste? Can you comment? That's what we do on a Facebook party. You could be a virtual only. About 80% of my team is selling just on Facebook. You could be a catalog consultant, or you could come out and do cooking parties with me, and I'll train you and help you and do your first party no matter what. But I'll post that picture. So for today, I want to thank you for coming into my kitchen and spending some time with me. I hope that I get to spend some time in your kitchen. So have a great day, and we'll see you soon. And that's it. So that's that. I'm going to finish this up. So I think, what time is lunch?
Later, I hope.
What time? Oh, there's food coming out. Who knows what time lunch is? What's on the agenda for right now? Well, I have. I could chat a little bit about Facebook.
Marna,
Yeah, you can ask questions, or I can just stand here.
Did you finish the soup with them, or do you just not, they don't?
For this particular recipe, what I would have done on Facebook Live is I would have hurried this up, then I would have let this cook, and I would have done something else if I could have. I would have done a salad, a quick dessert, because usually I do about a half-hour demo. So I probably could have gotten this part done if I had hurried along in about 10 or 12 minutes. This would have come up to pressure. I could have done a dessert or something else. So that's what I would normally do. Lorraine?
You didn't cook the tortillas. Would you have done that in your,
This particular recipe doesn't have those silly things in it. Okay. I don't know why they're calling it a tortilla soup. Never mind. I don't know. There's no tortillas in it. Maybe you put them in like for crunchy topping. But I would just use tortilla chips. It is. It is. It's a quick cooker chicken tortilla soup. I've never made it. That's why I was a little rusty. But
I've never made it.
I think my quick slice is gone, so I'm just going to show you a couple tips on showing people how to use a knife. I mean, not that I'm an expert, trust me, I'm an expert on nothing. But at a party, I like to show them that this is how, like I have daughters, I've got 5 kids, 12 grandkids. There's always a variety of people, to make fun of. So one of my daughters, I'm watching her cut up green onions, and she's extremely anal. I mean, God love her, but she's very particular about everything. This is how she cuts green onions.
Oh boy.
And I'm hyperventilating, like, oh my God, give me that knife. So I show people, you can take a whole bunch of green onions, line them up, and with this, now, a true chef does the choke hold on it, but I like to put my pointer finger on. I cannot do it. What? It's fine. Pam's like having a heart attack. All right, so you keep your knife point down, and you just slide. Or you can cut on the forward slice. I like to cut on the back. Chefs will cut on the forward slice. But if you can teach people to keep that knife point down, it prevents this.
Look at her face.
And if you don't have a sharp knife, you're just going over it and over it. It's like when you're vacuuming the carpet and there's like a spot, and you just keep taking the vacuum over it. And then you go down and flick it up a little bit. You've got the crusties. So anyway, cut some green onion up. So green onions are basically just a regular onion. It's just before they've gone to fully mature. My grandma used to call these spring onions because she would plant onions, and before they were ready, she would pull them for spring onions, and a good thing. Okay, you can go, sweaty girl. She's so hot.
Don't fall.
So let me just tell you a couple tips about cooking on. Yes, you got a question? You got a question?
Oh, when you go Facebook Live,
Yes.
where are you live?
Yes, I go live on my public personal page. I'll share it into my groups, but I go public. I get way more. I mean, way more action. So one thing that's fun that we've done on our team is we announced on Sunday night, hey, we're going to be making Monday meals, and here are 4 recipes that I could make. Will you please vote on which one? You cannot believe how many people will vote on which recipe to make. You just can't even believe it. So think about then how you can use that to your benefit. What could you do when somebody says they want the tortilla soup, but that's not the one you're making? Could you not message them and say, hey, thanks for commenting. I'm not going to do your recipe, but I would love to do it at a party at your house. What would you say? You've got, I mean, if we have time, I'm going to share with you a lot of ideas on how to use Facebook to build your business, what to do and what not to do. What not to do is to go out every single day and say, hey, who wants to have a party? I'm offering a free gift if you book a party. Hey, this is a host special for the month. 80% of your content on Facebook should be free. What would be free content? What could you post? Recipes, tips, quick tips, fun. Puppies and cats, that's right. You know what else people comment on? Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Which donut do you like? A, B, C, or D? Pick your favorite color. Pick your color. Pick your birthstone. All this nonsense stuff. So I post a lot of that stuff, maybe once a week. I try to post again at a time when people are going to come on. So the trick, though, is to use comments and likes and loves that people are giving you to build your business. So if I coach a new consultant who try to get bookings, I will give her some things to post. Put this out there, put this out there. And then we go back and she says, yeah, nobody's calling for a booking, nobody's saying anything, blah, blah, blah. But what do you think that I find on the post? Likes, loves, comments. So what you have to do is use those to teach them how to build a conversation based on it. So I say, okay, so Melissa commented on your picture of this. So I want you to message Melissa and say, hey, thanks so much for commenting on my beef stew that I made. I've been having so much fun selling Pampered Chef. Hey, I don't know if you've considered it, but what would you say to doing a cooking party in October? I'd even give you a free gift and make that beef stew. What do you think? They have to learn how to use that to message people. That's what it's all about. The other thing on Facebook is that you cannot be just a lurker and not comment. So another task that I try to teach all the time is that every day they have to go out and comment on 10 people's posts, not Pampered Chef people's stuff. They've got to go through their news feed and go out and who knows the magic number of words that they say helps your 5. So a lot of times in my parties, if I post something like that says, yeah, which flavor do you like of fall? Apple cider or pumpkin pie spice, right? Then I say, and tell me why. Tell me why. A lot of my games or whatever, guessing thing, not guessing, but either ors, will ask the question, tell me why. Or it'll be, I don't know why that's doing that. Yeah, thank you, honey. No, it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm too close.
Bring it
Okay.
forward a little.
So why do you need to comment on other people's things? Because
Too relevant.
it makes you relevant and it increases your algorithms. And I'm not talking about going out and liking and loving. As far as Facebook goes, liking and loves really don't count for anything.
Oh, yeah.
It also is not plugged in because I had to put my it might be the chair.
Plug it in right now.
Right.
And they both work on the same thing.
I don't think that. I don't. Okay. I think it was just losing battery. Sorry about that. This is not using very much power. So this, you know that you're not supposed to put this on an extension cord. You know why though? My husband, my second husband, not the first one, second husband worked for the power company like I did. He was a power controller. And I asked him finally, I said, you know, because it always says like the blender and this, don't put it on an extension cord. And it's really because anytime you put anything on an extension cord, it loses voltage as it gets, especially those long ones. So that's why we put a short cord on here. First of all, for safety, but second of all, we tell you don't use an extension cord because it won't work as well. You won't get the full voltage, and you need that, especially with the blender. You need the high power. So I just want to give you an example of how the power of commenting on Facebook works. So about 5 years ago, I, in December, reached out to a former consultant and asked her about, you know, she made Christmas cookies. You know, how much would it be for a dozen of Christmas cookies or whatever? So I had not talked to that girl in probably 10 years. So I messaged her about that. So we had built a connection through Messenger. We're messaging back and forth. The very next day, one of my former Girl Scouts posted on Facebook, hey, beautiful pictures of she and her husband and their heartfelt story about wanting to adopt a baby. It was a very sad, you know, these fertility stories are really hard, but when it's somebody that you know and love, I don't usually share those, but I just felt somehow, some way, I should do whatever I could to share her story. She had asked for people to share, so I shared it. Within 10 seconds of me posting that, guess who commented? Cookie Lady. Is she looking for an open or a closed adoption? Her daughter was pregnant and could not keep her baby. And in 9 months, that baby went to my Girl Scout. And I'm telling you, it never would have been. It was God putting it together because there was just no way we would have ever seen each other's post. And that girl, that baby girl, has the best life. Those parents just love her to death. And the consultant just would not, her daughter just never could have given her. So it's very hard to deny the power of social media. It works. The other thing Facebook does is listen to everything you message. So I messaged a girl about buying some unique eye stuff. So I messaged her, hey, I'm thinking about, guess what came up in my news feed? It was an ad for like another company's mascara. It just freaks you freaking out. So please avoid putting things in Messenger that use the word FBJAIL. I mean, you just don't say those words. I'm just jinxing. I don't want to jinx myself. But anyway, so Facebook loves conversations, and if you do a Facebook Live, so let's talk. You've done your Facebook Live, and now you're going to go back after you're done cooking, and now you're going to look through all of your comments. And you're going to reply and tag everybody. Hey, thanks for watching the demo. What are you up to today, Melissa? Right? Try to create conversation because you get credit for them commenting, but when you reply, you get credit again. And if they reply back, you get credit again. So if you just go out on somebody's page and like something, or they're, you know, nothing's going to happen because they're not going to reply back. But if you say something like, oh my gosh, your kids are getting so big, she's most likely going to comment back thanks or whatever. So just put it in your training sometime, or put it in your notes to make sure that you are commenting and working the Facebook system if you're going to use it. The other thing is you got to get more Facebook friends. You cannot run a Facebook business with 200 friends. Now I have a lot of consultants who will come in and say, oh, I don't want, you know, my customers to be my friends. I don't know what they're posting. I mean, if you are posting things that could be perceived as political, objectionable, that there could be two sides to the story, you might feel really strongly about President Trump or very strongly about the opposition. And you're right, but 50% of your customers disagree with you. So can you afford to lose 50%? Because this is very polarizing. And so when I see those posts, or like I had a girl who posted how very sick she was. You know, I read a little meme. It said, when should you air your problems on Facebook? Never. Never. She's posting about how sick she is, how her son was vomiting everywhere. It was just awful. I'm not kidding. 5 minutes later, who wants to have a Pampered Chef party? Like, nobody, germ lady. Nobody. Who's going to have a party with you? Are you nuts? So anyway, this is hot. Who designed this? I'm just killing time now till they tell me to give me the yank. Are we good yet? But look, if you really don't want everybody to see your stuff, I mean, I think there is a way to block certain people from seeing what you post. I just say, if it's that bad, don't post it. Just don't post it. Don't post, controversial things. And even as crazy and as crass as I am, I never post bad memes or any kind of word that's bad. I just don't, because there's too many people that would be offended. Probably all of you people are offended with me, but
And if you don't have something nice
you're
to say,
welcome. You
don't
paid
say it.
$100 to see this, or whatever you
Be
paid.
kind.
But anyway, try doing a cooking demo, because this is what I know, that you will start to get orders from people that have seen your video, especially when they start to get shared. There's power in it. So, I see people, they'll do a little video and they'll get like 63 views. I'll get 2,000 views on my videos because I'm getting people to share them, and then I start to get the orders. So it's a really powerful tool. I hope you give it a try. So thanks so much.